Pennsylvania Senate candidate Dr. Mehmet Oz said he would renounce his Turkish citizenship if elected. His announcement comes after rival David McCormick, who's currently leading polls, raised concerns about Mr. Oz's dual citizenship and the impact it would have on his ability to view certain intelligence. In a statement, Oz says he maintained his Turkish citizenship to care for his ailing mother, but has become too much of a distraction in his campaign. McCormick responded to Oz's announcement by saying he should renounce his Turkish citizenship now. For all things politics in Pennsylvania, KDKA TV Money and politics editor Jon Delano is here. Jon, Mehmet Oz has nationwide fame. He's a household name. What does that do for him, if anything, running statewide in Pennsylvania?
Well, first, Scott, it's great to be with you. Happy to be with you on your show. Let me tell you straight up, Mehmet Oz is a celebrity. And what we've seen here in Pennsylvania is that everywhere he goes, people do come up to him. They want his autograph. They want to take a selfie with him. He's, unlike all the other candidates running for the U.S. Senate on both the Republican and Democratic side, he clearly has recognition across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, notwithstanding the fact he's from New Jersey. But, we welcome everyone into the state, and he's come into the state along with some of the other candidates running for the U.S. Senate. And, the other thing to remember is that Mehmet Oz has been on television quite a bit with this TV show. And I think it's important to note that in Pennsylvania, something like 26% of the voters, registered voters in Pennsylvania, are over the age of 65. 44% are over the age of 55. Who's sitting at home watching Dr. Oz on TV? It's almost a majority of the voters who will be casting ballots in the May primary.
It's a uniquely competitive primary. So what's the state of play of it right now? And let's begin with the Republicans. How's that contest playing out so far?
Well, there's 7 Republicans, Scott, who filed to run last week. The deadline was last week. And the fact is that of those, many people think it's a 2-person race between Mehmet Oz, who comes from New Jersey, and David McCormick, who has lived a decade and a half in Connecticut. These are 2 folks who have come into Pennsylvania, and we've seen the one poll that suggests that McCormick is ahead by 9 points. There are other candidates in the race. Carla Sands, who, like McCormick, grew up in Pennsylvania, but she's lived in California for many years. She also has moved back. She was Donald Trump's ambassador to Denmark. And then there's the Pennsylvanian. He kind of trumpets himself as the true Pennsylvanian because he's never left the state. And that's former Lieutenant Governor candidate Jeff Bartos. But a lot of people think because of the money, Scott, it's really the money. Oz has spent $8 million on television ads already in Pennsylvania. McCormick has spent $6.5 million, but then McCormick has a secret weapon. He's got a super PAC, and it has spent $7.7 million on top of his 6.5 to trash Oz everywhere you turn. So it's pretty hard not to watch television. I mean, every time you turn on the tube, the only names you see are McCormick, Oz, Oz, McCormick, McCormick, Oz. So you think it's a real 2-person race, at least at this early stage.
Now, they're both becoming TV stars then. Democrats don't have a talk show host in their primary, but they do have high-profile, entrenched political leaders running for that nomination. How's the Democratic primary progressing?
Well, they certainly have a personality in Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, who is absolutely unique. He doesn't wear coats and ties. He likes to wear shorts in the wintertime. In fact, he greeted President Biden when the president was out here just recently in his shorts and his hoodie. I mean, that's John Fetterman. That's a style that he thinks appeals to a lot of people. And then you have Connor Lamb, who has really been the one Democrat who has won in Republican areas. He won a special election in 2018 in a district that Donald Trump won by 20 points. And so Lamb is really trying to tell Democrats, hey, you want to win the state of Pennsylvania? Nominate me. Fetterman is arguing, hey, I'm with you in heart and soul because I'm a real progressive. I'm not as moderate as Connor Lamb. Vote for me because I really represent you. It's quite an interesting battle in Pennsylvania on the Democratic side as well as the Republicans. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Lieutenant Governor Fetterman didn't just greet the president in shorts. He did it on a really, really cold day, which I think made it more distinctive. Let me talk about the epicenter politically of these primaries. geographically in Pennsylvania, is it your area? Is it Pittsburgh? Or where's the real battleground or the real intense bullseye on the map?
Well, we are a very big state, and we are very diverse, with huge population centers in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and then a lot of rural area. You know, we're a big agricultural state that's in between, and then now a growing South Central region that has become a Republican stronghold. So let's say for the Democrats, the battle is really Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Those major metropolitan areas and their suburbs are where it's at for Democratic candidates. For Republicans, it really is the southwestern part of Pennsylvania beyond Pittsburgh and Allegheny County. Republicans are picking up speed there. Every time I look at the registration figures, there have been more Democrats turning Republican than ever before. The south central part of Pennsylvania, around the Lancaster area, the York area, very strong Republican area. And then across the heartland of the agricultural part, the T as we used to call it, across Pennsylvania, also Republican. So they are aiming at different parts of the state to win the primary. But to win the general election, you need it all.
Jon Delano reporting from Pennsylvania, from the Commonwealth. Jon, thanks for your time.
Great to be with you, Scott. Thank you again.